Okay, good evening, dear subscribers. Serge is here with you again with a quick tip or a teaching hack. Call it whatever you want to call it, but that's a thing that I discovered recently. Actually, yesterday I had a lesson with my student, and we were learning the construction there are, and describing rooms. And so there was a living room that a student had to describe, and so he described everything using the prepositions that we're all used to, like the prepositions of place, in, on, at, under, below, above, and everything else. And he described all the objects that were in the room, like the couch, the cabinet, painting, bookcase, and everything else. And then I just decided to add some more details to the description. I decided to ask him questions so as to prompt his own imagination or to prompt his own speaking abilities, so he starts describing things by himself. I would ask him, like, what's on the end table? And he had to say, the vase is on the end table, or what's in the bookcase? The books are in the bookcase. And then I asked him, what can you see through the window? And if you look through the window there in that picture of the room, you would see a tree and little small bushes there that were growing right next to the tree. But the student didn't know the word bush, so he said, I see through the window, I see a tree and small. So he started hesitating. He didn't know how to say the word bush. And I asked him, okay, I see that you don't know that word. So I try to use the communicative approach to as big an extent as I can. So I would prompt him saying, who was the 43rd president of the United States? I meant George Walker Bush, so I wanted him to recall the name of the president, and thus he would understand that this is the word that denotes this object that's in the window near the tree. So he started recalling the president, and he didn't know them by the number, so he didn't know who the 43rd was or the 44th was. So I just asked him, who was president of the United States before Barack Obama? And he would say, I think it was George Bush. I said, yeah, Bush. So what's behind, what can you see through the window? And he, you can see a tree and two little bushes. Yeah, bushes. So this is how we got to that word. So in the communicative approach, sometimes you have to be very creative, and sometimes you have to hint the student toward finding that word that he doesn't know. And there are cases, I don't deny cases where there is no way or nothing that you can do about to do in English to help your student find a word in English to do without using the Russian language. But there are certainly occasions like this one that I just described where you can use a little bit of imagination, a little bit of creative thinking, and you can, in your head, something clicks and you find a word that sounds just the same or has some similarities or evokes some associations, and that can prompt your student to understand what you're talking about without using your native language. So you can just stay within English and still be able to communicate with your student, even if it's not an advanced student. It can be an intermediate student or even a below intermediate student, and you can still do well using only English. So this was my little teaching hack, and I would be very happy if I get some feedback for this vid, and I'm glad to be doing this work for you. Thank you for your attention. This was your Serge. Goodbye.